So, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Ike Mma podcast or the Ike Mma show, whichever you prefer. And I am joined in studio with Jacob Wells. How are you feeling? How are you doing?
Yeah, like I say, just a bit sore, bit happy, of course, but I can definitely feel like I've had a fight. Yeah,
Yes,
I've
yeah.
definitely got the definitely had a fight at the weekend.
No, no, definitely. I mean, I'm asking how you're feeling, but I mean, I saw the fight. I saw what happened. That you won. So, your answer is going to be really obvious, and I should even know if even ask you're going to be feeling on top of the world because with your many belts beneath your belt, many titles beneath your belt, many accolades and so on. I mean, you're like champion in let's say a few multiple divisions or areas of combat sports, kickboxing, and I think
Yeah,
boxing as well.
yeah, boxing as well. Yeah, I hold titles in boxing, kickboxing, and K1.
Yeah, professional CFS British champion, professional
Yeah,
two-time ISK. I'm not sure what the acronyms for this. Is it a promoter? ISKA
uh,
and British champion.
yeah, I'm two-time ISKA British K1 champion, which is basically the biggest organisation within kickboxing. But it's a good belt to have within kickboxing. Some will
Okay.
say others, but it's a good
Yeah, that's really awesome. That's really good.
belt. Yeah.
Look, but just that fight going into it, then the fight itself and coming out, just overall, just how did you feel that evening? I mean, how did the Saturday go for you? I think we lost this connection.
Sorry, you're. I think I lost you.
No, I was saying, God, I think the connection might have frozen up a bit either, because your video looks like it's frozen. Um, you can still hear me? Okay, it looks like we got you back. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Um, and I was saying, for Saturday, just overall, how was that evening for you
All right,
going
there we
into
go.
the fight, the walk, the walk into the cage, just entertaining and performing for everybody in the cage, and then walking out. Just how did it feel for you, the whole thing? Yeah,
Oh, there you go. It's saying the internet on it. Can you hear me now? Is that better?
I can hear you. Yes.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know what's happened there, man. Sorry. Yeah, what did you say, mate?
Saturday, and your fight against, I think his name is Borello.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Just how did it feel? How did it go? Just the overall event for you, the overall nights. How was it for you? I mean, what was the feeling like?
So overall, I mean, it was a really good show, really well run, really professional, really impressed with everything about that show. That is the best show I've ever fought on. In regards, like, just the status of it was fantastic anyway, let alone, everything else. But the professionalism of all of it, firstly, like how it was all run, the order, they looked after everyone. It was honestly, it was great. That side of it was great. They looked after you. They made sure, everything was just run well. I've been on shows before where things have everything's just it's organized, and
Yes.
and it can make things so much hard. It's a hard enough situation as it is. You're stressed as it is. You want it to move
Yes.
well. And what they've done well with Combat Fight Series, I believe, if they've just made it, they just the way they run. I mean, the people working there, honestly, incredible. So that side of it was great. And that was really, really good. And the production and all that was great. How I felt in the fight going into it, I was nervous. It was a big stage. It was a big fight. It was an opportunity for me. I needed I fought on shows. I've been around years. People know me, but I needed a career-defining moment. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I needed
Yes.
something that was gonna sting things into action. Because I'm 30 years old now. I've been around years. I've done this, I've done that, but for me, like I've never hit the big time, and that for me meant the absolute world. And I'm sure people agree, to get a knockout like that after being behind
Yes. Yeah.
and doing something like that is only going to open doors for me long term, because that's what I need at this stage in my career. I need to be moving forward at bigger fights. Whether whatever happens, I need to be knocking on the door. I can't stay at this. I need to be pushing all the time.
Yes. Yeah.
Who's out there? Who's there? Who's the better fighter? Who's got this? Who's got that? Oh, what's that? Let's go. Win, lose or draw, you're moving forward,
You want to
and
stay
that's
active.
yeah, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking. I've like I said, I've been around years. I've been fighting for 13 years. That's like
Yes.
it's just I need something out of this. It's now or never. Because like I say to everyone, when I'm done, I'm done. Like I ain't gonna be carrying this on forever. I'm not gonna be around forever. So I've got to do what I can now. And yeah, so that's what I did. But yeah, going into the fight, nervous, anxious, all the feelings, a little bit hesitant, a little bit stiff. The first round wasn't good for me. I've got, do you know what as well? I put a lot of pressure on myself to perform and to do it, and then it just didn't quite go to plan. To start with, it was all there's a couple of my punches and kicks were just out of range. He was quite slippery, so I found it quite hard to just to nail him. I couldn't quite get that equaliser on him. He moved well. He was a good fighter. Fair play to him. He moved well. He was very strong, very fast, very fit, very, very good fighter. And I've got a lot of respect for him. So well done to him if you think it. Seriously, that was a good fight. And he gave me a lot of problems early on.
Hmm.
But I found a way. Second round, he gave me two standing counts. I just couldn't believe it. I was like, is this really happening? It's like, but it all happened so quickly. He come in for the finish. I noticed he come in with a kick, and by that point, I was just like, look, protect your head and just make something happen. He's come in. I've seen the opportunity. I see the left hand drop. I threw the right hand, and as he stepped in, it was just like, yourself, when two things sort of meet, it makes the sort of power more, doesn't it? It's like two cars sort of crashing into each other. It's going to be more of an impact. And that's basically what happened with me and him. And I got the win, and I was just so happy. But respect to him though, he was very good, and a really nice guy as well. Really nice guy.
It's very unique, and it's not okay. They say about showing good sportsmanship in sports in general overall.
Yeah,
Um, it's something that isn't seen so often, especially in combat sports. I mean, especially mixed martial arts. Both fighters may not necessarily hate each other, but they're in that particular situation, in that competition to win. So if they do, if the one fighter does lose, you don't always see them as in shaking hands or going to the extent that you have to actually still commend them on their performance. That they still, even though they didn't win, their performance is still pretty good and very, very
yeah,
impressive. It's something
yeah.
that you don't always see. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think is with me in life, and I stand by this. You have to give credit when it's due, and if someone does well, don't be one of them people that are like, oh, if someone's done well, tell them they've done well. Be honest, Don't be like, oh, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, I did start slow, yeah, I did make mistakes, fine, but he fought very well, and he made the most of the situation. He could see I was maybe hesitant, maybe slow starting. He took advantage of it, and it could have worked for him, but it didn't. The way it goes, this is the fight game. But ultimately, At the end of the day, me and Ruben have been around years. We're both professionals. We've been around years. You know, we know the game. But yeah, it was a good fight. It was a really good fight. Like I said, give me problems that I haven't had in a long time. He studied me. It just seemed like he had a game plan, you know, which I, you know, you have to give credit to, you know.
Yeah. No, of
You have
course.
to be fair. He's done well. He did. He just got caught. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But you know, he'll be back. You know, it happens.
But after Saturday, after what looks like, at least for me anyway, and I'm sure for you, what feels like a milestone achievement, does it feel like some of the pressure has been lifted off your shoulders? I mean, you said you're still only 30, so you still got a lot of fights ahead of you. But I mean, do you feel like some pressure has been is been relieved, taken off your shoulders a little bit?
I believe so because I think that I was at a stage where it was like it was almost like you were like, right, I've heard of this guy, I've heard he's all right, but I want to see it. I want to see what he's, you know what I mean?
Yes,
And
yeah.
in my head, I'm like thinking, you know, I've got to do something here because, you've got to roll the dice sometimes. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And you got to put yourself out there. And and in this life, in this game, and I know in this game to get anywhere, you've got to put yourself out there and put yourself in them high risk situations
Mhm,
that
mhm.
that can make or break you. I mean, it could have gone horribly wrong. It could have
Okay.
just, but it pays. You work hard. It pays off. If you, I train very hard. I work hard. I believe that my work ethic, is better than most. So I believe that, is a big part for confidence as well. And my team are great as well. Like we've got a lot of good fighters in our gym. Like we've got Dan Tracy like in there. We've got some really good fighters in there, and they're pushing me all the time, where it's like there's no there's you can only get better being around the teammates I have. You can only get better because they're always pushing us. And you're always finding out about yourself every single session. So especially the sparring
Yeah.
when we spar once a week on Thursday, and mate, it's tough, man. Like people come down to our sparring class, and they don't come back most of them. They're just they come in and they're just like, they do a
Really?
few rounds. Like, not in a, these people are like, they might be fighters, they might not be fighters, or they may just not be from the gym. It's not because, we've gone mad or we haven't, gone over the top. It's just the pace and the longevity of it. It's just, we just get on with it down there, But everyone's like on a good level, everyone's humble, and everyone helps each other. That's the good thing about my gym as well. We all got each other's back, and we all want the best for each other. Some gyms it's all very like, they're doing well, blah blah blah. And they get funny and all that. But it's not like that, and that's quite hard to find. Do you
Mhm.
know what I mean? Because sometimes if you get beat or whatever, you can be more worried about what your gym are going to be like rather than, do you know what I'm trying to say? So you want support, you want support everywhere.
So sometimes when a fighter does lose a fight or lose a competition of some sort in combat sports, is it is it known that sometimes their gym or the team they're affiliated with may start maybe distancing themselves away from that particular athlete?
The thing is with it, I don't think they distance themselves like in terms of like, oh, you lost, get out of the gym, fuck you, sort of thing. It ain't like that. It's just more. I think the thing is, people. I think most people. This is just every walk of life. I think if you're doing well sometimes in life, some people get jealous.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Some people get jealous and they're just like, oh, fucking bum when they get nasty that way, or you know what I mean? It's very hard. I think you've got to surround yourself with a team that whether you win or lose. Because
Mhm.
let's be honest, in K1 and Thai boxing, people get beat and they come back. In K1 in MMA, they get beat and they come back. No one is going to win all their fights. Not anyone that's fought anyone decent. Do you know what I mean? So there's going to be a lot of highs and lows, regardless of of any of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
You
yeah.
know, some days are gonna go wrong, some days are gonna go great. It's up and down. But I think if you're there for each other, ultimately, I think you can get through. Because you know, like you may lose a fight and be like, this ain't for me. This is too much. This is, you know, I can't deal with this loss. But if you've got people around you, like, look, come on, it's cool, you can do it, keep going, and you know, and they're supporting you, you know, whether it's like your relationship or your, you know, your home life or whatever. As long as you've got support, I think you can. You need a lot of support in this game because it's very up and down. The emotions are
Yeah.
getting crazy. Like it's crazy the emotions of it.
Mm. And I can see it's not just your physical power or your physical state that matters, but I think more so your mental state of mind, how you're mentally, because if you're not there mentally, then nothing else is really going to work.
Absolutely. Mental state. I didn't believe this, right? But mental state is so important. Like with training, because you know, like you go into the gym, you've got lots on your mind. You just
Yes.
can't fucking think, and you're getting taught stuff, and you just can't like process nothing because you're so worried about. Like I always say to all my clients when I do my personal training or whatever, I say to them, leave your problems at the door. Don't bring them in the gym because if you bring them in the gym, it's going to affect your training. Try and, if you can, you know, pick the problem up as you know, leave so you can enjoy your training. Because,
Yes.
and you know, when I was younger, I used to go in the gym and I'll be going, oh yeah, so and so, blah blah blah. I'll be fucked off with everything, and I learned to, you know, when I train, you train. You know, that's your time to, you know, for you. You know,
Yeah.
and then, you know, I don't know. That's just kind of what I say to people. If you can, try and leave it at the door. You know, and when you leave, pick it back up again. So,
And also combat sports training. I mean for me the closest I've done is just some kick work and some work on the pads. And I have to say it is very therapeutic. If you work in an industry where you have to deal with a lot of unpleasant people, then it's a really, really good way of venting out that stress at the end of the day, whenever you can do it.
oh yeah, I mean, if you're having a bad day, I mean, like driving to the gym. I mean, I can be driving to the gym and I can be like on the verge of like getting out and having like, you know, any, I don't know, it could be anything that's wound you up. But ultimately, when you come out of a training session, you feel great. Do you know what I mean? You feel whatever mood you're in, whether it's a good session or a little or a lot of training, you feel better.
Mhm.
That's basically it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's what I would say. I think training overall, I think you should always train, even if you're not competing or you just want to do it to keep fit. I think training is absolutely essential. I think to everyone. Just people I've been training with for years. They don't fight, they don't compete, they just love the training. You know, they just
Yes.
love to train and keep fit, and that's what it's about. You know, being happy with it.
It's the first time me speaking to you, and it's something that I always try and make sure I ask every fighter or person who's affiliated with combat sports one way or the other. Um, for you yourself, how did you get into combat sports and what attracted you before you started to concentrate on the kickboxing and then mixed martial arts?
So when I started getting into it about 14, 15. So I had a lot of problems. Like I was like always fighting. I was kicked out of school. I had a few issues going on like at home. There was a lot going on, and my granddad, bless him, he died last year, and he was like, look, you need. I tell you, I played football for a while, but I used to keep getting booked. I used to always like I was just always in arguments. Like you'd just think trouble followed me. I was just always in confrontation. But anyway, he said, "Look, I'm going to take you down a boxing gym, and we'll see how we get on. Like, we'll try it out, you know." And when I first started boxing, I was just because I was quite strong and I had a bit of a dig on me. They used to like I was about 15 or something to put me in with like the men,
Mhm.
and you can imagine they were obviously beating me up and all that. And like I just used to say to my granddad, I said, I don't think this is for me, this sport. Because it was just so hard, you know, to get sort of into it. And he said, look, trust me, just keep going, just keep turning up, and you'll do all right. And then I kept going, and then I got offered my first fight, and I won it. I had my first fight when I was 16 in Belfast. We went over to the Pro Kick gym. They had a
Okay.
show, and it was our fighters, Marty Cox gym versus Billy Murray's fighters in Belfast, and we fought their fighters. And I was like a kid, and I thought like he was an older guy. I fought him. I think I was at 17. I might be 17. Yeah, 17. And he was about 30, but he was older. But they matched it on the weight and stuff. And it would have, I wanted to fight, an older guy anyway. I think it was 17 and above. I think was like you could fight like men. I think anything below, I don't think you could. I can't remember exactly. But I thought I got a guy anyway, and I won the fight. And I was like, yeah, I won the fight, and I just never looked back. And that was it, really. And then I've done kickboxing for years and years, and that was it, really. And then it was a connection I had with my granddad that was just amazing. Like it was literally the best years of my life. But when I had like him around me, helping me, supporting me, like I didn't realise what I had with
Yes. Yeah.
him. And now he's gone. It's like God, I would do anything to have him here now.
No.
Because now I'm starting to reach the peak of what I'm doing.
Yes.
I just wish you could see it because
Yes. No. I
you
know.
go
Yeah.
you go through them hard times and where you think, oh, I don't know, this is this going to work, and you get to like Saturday, like the fact that I fought in York Hall for a British title, like that's something we spoke about since I started, to something like that. But he was with me in spirit. I felt in there. It was weird. I can't explain it, but I felt like he was there. But yeah, that's basically the reason why I got into it. So,
No.
yeah.
I know what you mean when a member of the family, who's probably somewhat older than you, but they have a lot of wisdom to pass on to you, then they support you in all these ventures, like being a mixed martial arts fighter and a successful one as you become now. Uh, you do you do regret and you do wish that they could be there to see you at probably at one of the highest stage and successes of your career. I know
Yeah.
what it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah, because you think we've done all this. Like I used to be such a shit as a teenager as well. Like honestly, I used to be so like he'd be like, do this, do that, and I used to do it, but I was never like easy with it. Do you know what I mean? I've always been quite a gobby fucker anyway, and he was like, fucking go for a run, do this, do that, and I'd do it, but I'd be like, when you're young, you're a teenager, you're just a bit sulky and well, I'm sulky now, to be fair. That's not really true. When I was younger, I just had a
Yes.
bit of an attitude, I think, which we all do, don't we? We just sort of go through that stage. But like I say, I miss him every day, and I just, I put it this way: I think about him all the time, and I just, it's everything he's done for me. I won't forget. You give me a give me a shot later on because what else would I be doing? This is my whole life. Like, what else would I be doing? Like just probably a building site, which I was doing before, and just probably getting a bit, depressed on there. I wasn't happy doing it. That's why I decided to.
And I'm sure you smart looking down and you smiling with pride.
No, I
Definitely.
appreciate that. Thank you, mate.
Definitely. Yeah.
I appreciate that. But yeah, there's a couple of things I was going to say as well because obviously we're on a podcast, and there's things that I need to mention as well. Is I need to get if like I was just thought this would be the sort of time to do it. I've got no sponsors at all. I've got no sponsors. Yeah, I've got no sponsors.
Are you sure? Not to call it out. I mean, of the sorts of fight record you just told me and the achievements you have, I thought you would have had at least five or
Yes,
so.
no,
Yeah.
I know, and this is the thing. I know how. It's what honestly, it's not. It's just something I feel like I haven't pushed enough. I was talking to my partner about this the other day, and she was like, "Jake, like all these guys you'll fight have like all these sponsors, like people I'm beating have, or lose it or whatever. They're all got caps. Like I'm having to pay for my massages. I'm having to pay for all my fight equipment. I'm having to like everything. Like I'm not saying that that's the thing, but like the stage, I'm having to fight and train so much. Like I need support, and I need to get that. So if there's anyone out there that want to support me and sponsor me, that would be great because I'm at the pinnacle now. I want to do this, so I just need to get it. I'm buying boxing gloves. I mean, I'm going through boxing gloves every like 2 to 3 months, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm literally going through everything, like the money I'm spending on stuff, like, and then you've got obviously the rent, car insurance, the shopping. I've got 4 kids. It's just crazy. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, I wanted to mention that on this because I felt like if anyone sees it or hears it, and you never know, there may be something that may come of it.
I'm sure definitely that you have someone, a brand will reach out. There is one particular brand that who I've seen a lot on the UK mixed martial arts or combat sporting scene anyway, Notorious Fight Gear.
Yes,
Yeah.
I met him. It's Alex. I spoke to him at the weekend. He's a great guy. We've got a funny relationship. So we've known each other for years, but we've only actually ever met once, and that was Saturday, and we was laughing about that. But he's a great guy. But yeah, I need to definitely get on to that. If he hears this, that'd be great. But I need to, just equipment and training stuff, just anything, because yeah, man, it's
Mm.
expensive. It's so expensive.
I'm really surprised no one's picked you up because clearly your results show that you are a promising athlete. So
Yeah,
definitely with your success and continued winnings, that will help give their brand more exposure.
yeah, and especially fighting on these shows as well. These shows are not like small shows. These shows are like big shows. Like yourself. Like these shows are like, these are like the big time.
Yes, yeah.
Like all of them. And
Mhm.
so like you say, it's only going to help the sponsors or anything like that's gonna be involved. So if there's anyone out there that wants to help me, and on this journey, the next few years, I really really appreciate it because that would be great. So
No,
it's something I really need to look into. I really do because I've never even really pushed for it. But as the levels get better, man, you've got to, you can't do it alone. No one can do it on their own. It's impossible. You need a good team. I've got a great team, of course, but I need, if there's sponsors that want to help me and stuff, that would be great. I just wanted to mention that on there. That was all because I just thought this would be a good time to say it.
in fact, branching off from that, your fight record that you told me, you've got about what, 29 wins?
29 wins, 8 defeats, and 4 draws. That is expanding from a kickboxing, amateur, professional, boxing, and pro K1 record. Which pro K1 record, I'm 4 wins, 2 losses, but 4 wins coming by a knockout. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty good.
When you told me that, before we started the episode, I was that's really good. And you're still very young.
Mm.
Um, what exactly do you owe that success to? I mean, is it just your mindset? You got a phenomenal mindset, or you got a great team behind you. As in, where do you say such success?
I I've got I think I've got good. I've always had good team and good people around me, and my partner Faith is incredible. She I am literally like Mr. Reassurance. I need reassurance all the time from her. She always gives me reassurance in areas because I'm a bit like, you get, oh, can I do this, blah, blah, blah. She's like, shut up, come on, you can do it. She's always supportive. She's really lovely like that. She's really good like that. So my team and my main aspect, which I said in my interview, is my determination. My determination is like no other. Like I will never give up. I will never give in, even though I'm like, oh, fuck this. I can't do this anymore. I will never give in. Never that. I think looking at my whole career and my life, I think that is the one thing that I believe will get me somewhere is my determination because I just won't stop. I just won't stop. And
Mm.
that sometimes all you need. How many of these guys are really talented, really good, but they haven't got the real
Yes, yeah.
grit. They do
Mhm.
well when they're winning, but when they get, I want to see these people when they lose. when it gets hard. I want to see if they come back and improve. That's what a good fighter does. If they lose, they come back. You know, and they try and that's what I think anyway. Determination in this game because it's tough.
Yes, yeah,
Like
I see that.
life's tough. Like fucking hell, like everything's tough. Like every walk of life tough. So if you haven't got that determination, like that's what I believe is a big. You can be strong, tough, fit, but you've got to have a strong mind. That's just so
Yes,
important.
of course,
Because
no,
if,
definitely.
if someone's shitting on you, like, and you can't even fucking, and you're losing, you feel like you're going down. Most people are like, just fuck it, and you just sort of stop. But there's them few that just think, right, let's find a way, let's get through this and find a way. And I just think that for me, that's the difference between things.
So I was going to ask you about the yeah, when you lose a fight, ha- okay, fine. Well, the show must go on, but I mean, when you lose a fight, it doesn't feel so good, and why kick someone when they're down, and you were saying,
Yeah, yeah. So,
sorry about
yeah,
that.
no, I just said there's no need to make someone feel worse than they already feel. This is a big problem in life. And what happens to the fighter in the next fight? It just puts more. I don't know whether it's so we'll just call it like a hater, yeah. A hater's aim to make a fighter feel more, feel like more pressure into his next fight. I don't know because if the fighter gets through it, if the fighter gets through the loss and gets through the camp, I guarantee his main worry will be he won't be care if he gets hurt, he won't care if he gets beat, or it's more sorry, yeah, it's more whether he loses or wins. You know what I mean? If he loses, he's got the I can't lose, I can't lose, I can't lose because he's got all that negativeness, and I think that's what it breeds, all that in people saying horrible things. As hard as it is and as hard as it sounds, you have to block it out because
Mm,
people are going to talk shit, whatever. Whether you're playing whether you're doing swimming, tennis, table tennis, you're always going to get something or someone putting you down. I think that, to be honest with you, I just think that's life. Like I said, I used to play football, and like when I got substituted or whatever, and I'd be like on the sideline, you'd hear the parents like just slagging off the players, and you're just like, mate, like why, like, do you know what I mean? I just think it goes on in every walk of life. I just think it's the way it is. But when it happens, I suppose, I think someone always said to me, if you're putting yourself out there to try and make a name for yourself, unfortunately, you're leaving yourself open. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
yes, yes, yeah.
For people to have a go at you, for people to have a comment. Like if you put something out on there, like a video, and people sort of, do you know what I'm trying to say? If you're putting yourself out there, you're part of that is unfortunately, do you know what I mean?
Mm.
It's kind of having to fucking take some criticism. It's good and bad, isn't it? I don't know, but that's basically, yeah,
I think
that's basically it.
if you are going to put yourself out there, especially in the age we live in now with social media, one of the consequences is, one of the downsides that people unfortunately have to have that power, that option to
Yeah,
come back with something negative, and sometimes
yeah,
people do it just for the fun of it. They don't need to say anything. There's no need for it, but they'll do it anyway just for a reaction, and probably because they just have too much spare time on their hands, something like that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, some of the things people say to like people online is just absolute disgusting. Like they you see it on like some programs, like, and you and they're like, and they're reading out the comments and they're like laughing, but they're reading it out, and you're thinking, like, how can someone have such an issue with that, like,
Yeah.
over, like, and they don't even know them. And
Hmm.
you see them videos, don't you, where they go and visit the hate, like the person that's like trolling them. They go and like
Yes.
visit them, and they're like, "You still got a problem?" And they're like, ah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my point is, it's just them videos are great because it's just showing you how insignificant them people are
Yeah.
and how little. But it's like it's the problem is us as people, we take such notice of the bad, we don't take enough of the good. We get a negative comment, we're obsessed with the negative comment, like you know what I mean, like what they said this about me, and it hurts you, and you know you and it bothers you, but where you get a good compliment, you're like, oh yeah, cheers, but it's sort of, you don't really, do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? You
of
don't.
course, yeah.
It's hard. It's tough. It's tough. You can. I think the best advice you can say to a sportsman, and it's easier said than done because I rise to things all the time, but it's trying to just try ignore it and try to. Do you know what I mean? Try and separate yourself from it. It's difficult because in this day and age, you need social media to promote yourself.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard. So it goes back to that thing I said. You're putting yourself out there to get judged, but at the same time, you know what I mean? You need
Yeah, yeah.
it's tough. It's really tough. It's a tough time we live in. It's almost like the world's your oyster with social media, but it's
Yes.
also fucking. It can also crush you in seconds. You know,
Mm.
you could put something up and be like, certainly it looked good and all that, and then you start getting people going negative on you, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, mate, like really? And that's the way it is. You know, that's life.
Uh,
This is life now.
no, no, of course. And social media initially was developed as a way for people to stay in touch, or in the positive aspect of people. Over the years, they've taken that and kind of turned it into something else, something sometimes a lot darker. It's very unfortunate, and now the genie's out of the bottle. There's no way of going back now because it's here to stay, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's tough, man. It is tough. It is tough. It's like I say, you need it, but you, it's like it's all good if you're doing well and everything's
Yeah,
up, but let's be honest, nothing's going to be up forever. There's going to be downs,
of
and
course.
when there's fucking downs, it's low, man. But you've got to be strong enough to think, I can get through. You know what I mean? And that's what I
No.
said to you. That's why your team needs to be strong. Your
Yes.
friends need to be strong. Your relationship needs to be strong. Because I don't care what life throws at you. If you've got that, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. It's just key. You just need good people around you in tough times, and you can get through. I think you can get through. Well, I know you can get through hard times.
So for someone as successful as yourself, but still very young, your fight camp, although you may tell me, and it's kind of an obvious answer to an obvious question, what's it like just for any given a competition you've been notified about is going to happen in the next month or so, as in what are things like, and what's your training like? Is it extreme for a particular opponent, or is it just the same, or is it just how's it go?
So my training's always tough. Like it's never not tough. The sparring's tough. The training's tough. I train in a way that works for me to a point, but I have coaches that alter things and change things as we go. Like if there's things that, say for example, my last fight, the things I'm not doing, there's things we need to work on and we need to monitor that and make sure that's a problem that's not there no more. But it's the dieting, the camp, and just accelerating it at the right time. It's trying to peak at that right time because any fighter will say if you peak too early, you feel it, man. You feel it. So you've just got to get the right kind of balance with the cutting and that's why nutrition is so important as well, because like the old way that maybe I'd done it years ago won't work sort of now. Do you know? Because your
Yeah.
body changes, you get older,
Yes.
life changes, everything. You're constantly learning all the time. You're learning all the time. There's things I'm getting wrong, and I'm going, right, shit, I've got to do something else here. Oh, that's not right. Oh, that worked. That was good. I felt good. Do you know what I mean? But ultimately, like, it's okay if it's like that, but if it's going like that,
Yes.
it's too extreme. You've got to have like people say they have bad days. Like a bad day is
Yeah.
like just a little bit that you need to kind of, like I say, but if you get a bad day, you don't even want to leave the house, and you're like, oh, I feel you've got to be careful. But nutrition is a big part of like mental state and stuff as well, because like if you're eating well and everything's like good, your home life's good, you'll feel better. You're
Class, yeah.
having rows every day and you're stressed and you're having problems at work, you ain't motivated. You don't want to do anything. I think that's what I said to you. I go back to that thing all the time. You've got to have good people around you.
Yes.
That is the key.
Uh-huh.
I think. Now, if you've got ability and you're tough and you're fit and you're determined, you've got half a chance. But you look at all the good people that are successful. They've got good people around them. It's a fact. It's a fact.
Um, what advice would you give for new athletes who are gradually they're working their way up the rankings, or new athletes are coming into the sport? What advice would you give them?
Advice I'd give to someone that was starting out is listen to everything you're told. Don't think that you have all the answers, and don't and listen to everyone. Don't think, and try hide yourself away. There's too many fighters, that I think sometimes so desperate to kind of put themselves out there. They kind of, do you know what I'm trying to say? You're better off sort of holding yourself back, like your personality back, all your stuff back,
Yeah.
and kind of, and then when you hit the big time, it's like, I'm like, wow, who's this? This is great. But sometimes I think it's getting I just think, just basically what I'm trying to say, I was just going off on one there. I think the best thing you need to do is listen, listen to your trainer, and just discipline, just work hard. Because when you're young, you've got endless amount of energy, endless amount of recovery. Like, you recover so much quicker. Like when I was 21, 22, like I recovered so quick. When you get that bit older, it gets that bit harder. Do you know what I mean? It just gets that bit harder. The diet gets that bit harder. Like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
It's just everything. I just think, you just need to listen. Listen to your team, listen to your coaches, and enjoy it. And just because it's enjoy it, because it goes quick. It goes
Of
so quick.
course. Yeah.
I remember when I started, man, it's just gone like that. It's like, wow, where's that time gone? And also the losses make you better. And if you lose, don't get disheartened. Don't think, I can't do this, because you're young. You're just starting. Your best years are yet to come. If you lose, and you just keep going, no matter what life throws you. Never give up. Never give up. That's what advice I would give to younger fighters. Never give up.
Okay, I can ask you some. What about any future plans you might have? I mean, at some point, would you want to fight and say the big promotion, the big names?
That would be great. At the moment, I'm taking one fight as it comes. We'll see. I'm enjoying it at the moment. I'm really enjoying it. It's really cool. It keeps me out of trouble, which is the main thing, and it's a good lifestyle. And I need something. I'm one of these guys that needs to have. I need to have that focus.
Yes.
I've had it for so many years. You imagine taking that away from me now? I'd be lost. I'd just be doing fucking mad shit all day long. I just need that that escape, that just that focus, really. I just think, but no plans yet. We'll see. Next couple of fights, if I'm successful, if I've got a couple of big fights lined up, successful in these fights, well, there could be some. Yeah, there's things coming up for me, but it's about the progression. We have to see.
And when can we see you fighting next? Your next fight? Any news on? I know it's still very early. Just had a fight literally yesterday, but I mean, any ideas of when a new fight is going to be on the card at all?
I'm looking at October, November. I'm actually nothing's confirmed, but I'm gonna confirm that in the next when I know for certain. I'll know. Like I'm not too sure just yet what exactly is happening, but I'm led to believe it's going to be it's a big fight. It's a bigger fight than the one I just had, which was obviously a huge fight. So we'll have to just wait for that.
I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, yeah, man. You got to. This is what I mean. We got to try and promote me more. Got to try and get myself out there more because like it seems like I've just sort of just sort of gone like, whoa, who's this guy? Who's this guy? Just out of nowhere. So yeah.
Um, and last but not least, any shout outs that you have, any affiliates, well, you talking about getting sponsors, any coaches, family members, and friends you want to give a shout out to?
Okay, so firstly, my partner Faith, who's been absolutely fantastic, literally had my back since I've met her. She's been great. She's just been there for me all the way through. I mean, how she puts up with me sometimes, I don't know. She really is great. Anyone that knows Faith and my story, they'll know that how much she's done for me. She's just incredible. She's been great. That's my partner, Faith. Second of all, is my team. Alex, Martin, Rob, everyone down Prior Combat, the whole team, everyone that's like helped me in my training, like literally amazing. Got nothing to like literally, can't thank them enough. I've got people that help me in other gyms. My old trainer, Marty Cox, he does a bit of work with me. It's always great to see Marty. He's the one that done the kickboxing with me. I don't see him too much, but it's nice to see him. I do a training. I also train with John Duran in London, Victoria, who is a great trainer. He helps me with like technical side of stuff, and he's a good friend of mine as well. But he helps me out a lot. He's a really good guy. And yeah, literally anyone else? So I think that was. There's so honestly, I can't. The thing is, like I said to you, I always go back to this. The people in my life are great, and that seems like I'm just sort of lying, but they really are. There's too many people I could mention, and I just can't think of them all. Do you know what I mean? And also, Tyler, my nutritionist, he's great as well. He's the one that does my weight cut on the last week. He's and throughout and supports me, always checks in on me, and always see how I am. And and also well done to my teammates as well, because we had three other people fighting on that show as well. We had Izzy, who become English champion. She did fantastic. She done so well. She's one to watch for the future. She's going to be a good fighter, Izzy. Dom won on points. He's an incredible talent. He's young as well. He's honestly one to watch.
Dominic Edwards.
And yes, Dominic Edwards.
Yes, I know.
That's
Yeah.
it. He is one to watch. And Tawab as well. Tawab is just heart of a lion, tough, fight anyone, great fighter, tough as nails, strong. And I just want to give a shout out to them guys because, at the end of the day, they all did incredible as well. As a team, we all work hard. All three of them done incredible. And, Martin, our coach, and Alex, they endless time with us, endless hours with us, always helping us. And so that's the shout outs. So I don't honestly, I could go on and on.
You've got a big team behind you, and I
Yeah.
think it now kind of makes things a lot clearer as to why you've done. Of course, there's everything. Of course, it is reliant upon yourself because you have to actually go out there and compete and put all of that hard work to the test. But it now becomes clear as to why you're so successful. Because I was really surprised when you sent me your fight records. I looked online everywhere, and I couldn't see when you told me the actual data. I was really shocked. That's very good, and you're still very young.
Well, this is what I mean. I've been fighting since 2010. Now, that's like, what's that? It's nearly 14 years coming up. 14 years.
Yes.
it's like people like see me and they go, oh yeah, how old are you, Jake, now? Like you got to be about 40, 41. I'm like, I'm 30 years old. And they're like, what? They're like generally shocked because I've been around that long.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I've had like nearly 40 fights. I think I've had 40 fights, all competitions, but K1 I've had six. If we just go by the pro K1 record, it's six fights. But yeah, man, it's good fun. But yeah, I'm learning all the time. I'm loving it. It's all really good.
Please send me a link of all or tags all the people you want me to tag, and I'll leave in the description below or for YouTube and in the podcast and on the Instagram post as well. I'll be sure to do that.
That's great. Thank you so much for this. This has been great, and also sponsors as well. If they want to get in touch, I'd be really grateful. Because yeah, man, I've got some big fights, and I need if I can get help, that'd be great.
If you want, I could make a post for you on Instagram if
That'd
you
be
like.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you for contacting me for an interview. That's really
Yeah.
really kind of you to have me on. And yeah, I hope that I've give you a good podcast.
No, you have. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you so much.
That's cool, my man. I'll speak to you soon, and thank you so much.
Thank you guys for watching. And if you did watch to the end of this episode, please don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. And you can catch the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, and on Google Podcasts. Jacob, thank you again. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take
Take
care.
care. See you later. Bye.